Hey, how is everyone doing? This is Anon. None of this is financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Alright, so let's get everything started off. Let's see if everything's up and running. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Raid? How's it going? What's up, awesomeness? Finally got the notification. Good stuff. Did you have it like disabled before or something, or? Alright, so I need to get everything up now. Did it give a notification on the? Yeah, it gave it on there. Okay, cool. What's up, guys? What's up? Let's see. We got Tom in here, Hunter. Yeah, the at everyone helps. Good stuff. Yeah, we made basically the bot do this, so now whenever I stream, it automatically pushes it out to the Discord. So a little more helpful than before. Let's go ahead and get into Twitter, so I can just post it on there real quick, and then we'll get started. See how it all goes. How's everyone's day? Hopefully, retail had a better day today than yesterday or than Monday. Aterian on the move again. I think we pushed back up to 7 in August. It's possible. Like, this is one of those stocks that just it goes down and then it'll pop up randomly and rhyme or reason. It just But I was telling people, like, Aterian doesn't need, like, some of these stocks really need the short interest to move. Aterian is not one of those. Like, Aterian can move on its own. It just needs to have better numbers as far as, like, shipping rates coming down and then, like, revenue. But, yeah, we can go over all this stuff. Obviously, GameStop had a nice day today also. And some of you got to see it push back up to these levels. So, But yeah, GameStop was interesting, and I think I actually went on just to experiment with the NFT marketplace because I wanted to see. I mean, like, if you're going to own a company, you want to see what you're buying. So I went on there and I was like, okay. So I actually literally bought some artwork, which I never thought I would ever do because I thought it was silly. But then I saw like this one piece that I was like, oh, that's really cool. I can show you guys what it is. I do have to see real quick. Am I able to pull up my wallet on here? Because I did it at work. And then see if I do the extensions. If I go to the wallet. Recover wallet maybe? Okay, I have to do this thing, right? Yeah, it could be, with the market conditions being better, it would be great. Obviously, I think we're going to still see a downturn in the market coming up, so that can hold it back a little bit, but at this point, I think they've pretty much already factored in most of the downside stuff. Here we go. What do we need here? Oh yeah, so I am an uncle again. My brother just had a little baby girl, so she is doing well, and so is the mom, so that's good. All right, let me see what we got here. All right. I took a picture of my codes so I could figure out, I guess, how to recover. Enter recovery phrase. Do I have to type the whole thing in? Anyone know? Yeah, let's see. Do I have to type this whole thing in? That seems like super long. just randomly generates a long string of words, I guess, that are not normal. I'm trying to pull up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That way we can kind of all... I think I almost got it. I'm learning all this crypto stuff. Okay, NFTs. Yeah, so let me see if I can... How do I look at it? Open in a new tab. That didn't do it. So I'm still learning how all this stuff works and fits together. But on the other hand, I think it's super cool. Like they launch this thing, but I think where their money is going to be basically in doing this for video games. Because I think if you make like loot and all this stuff, like, how do I? Man, did you quit your job so we can trade stocks all day? No, not yet. I was going to say, unfortunately for me, is obviously with Aterian going down in value, the Patreons are all pretty much gone except for a handful of you, and I make about $70 on YouTube each month, so not quite there at the point where I can quit my day job. It'd be nice if I was able to do that, but at this point right now, that's not in the cards. But maybe someday. Maybe one of these days it's going to run and... Okay, I can show you guys. Boom. Check that out, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. I bought that. I just wanted to see how it worked. So I guess I can put that as my avatar or something, and then like... Where's the other one? There was a couple of them that I thought were pretty neat. This one artist, I like their style. And yes, I know you can just literally screenshot it, and it's, because that's the way I was looking at it too. But like, I figured this artist was pretty good. I'd like to support them, and I also just wanted to see how the transactions worked on, with GameStop. This one was called Love. And they do have one more, I think. But I think it's interesting because I saw that like the stock, or not the stock, but these pieces now are worth more as more and more people, get on and like a certain artist, the value goes up, which I thought was interesting. This one's called The Alley. So, anyway, yeah, that's my first time ever messing around with NFTs, so I thought, might as well. I think I paid, like, between $30 and $40. And when I went on and I looked last time, they were worth, like, 80. Like, they were selling them for, like, 80, so, like, they traded a ridiculous number of those things this morning. Yeah, so, from what I saw, at least on and I'll pull over the page so you guys can see it. In fact, I probably should have done that, because that makes more sense. Let me do that for you guys. NFT GameStop. Alright, so cool. So, these are, I guess, some of the featured creators right now. And they have all these different, like, things right now. And literally, it's just, like, a handful of things. But this is where I think the money's going to start coming in. Is because... They did, I believe I saw on Reddit, about 1 million and something in 24 hours, like in sales, I think. They sold the 100% of the Meta Boys. But yeah, here it is. Here's the Reddit post. GameStop NFT Marketplace transacts over 1.74 million in its first 24 hours. So that's now, if you think about this, I believe their fees that they collect from them is about 2%. So if you do 2% of like 174 million, that's probably about like 30K in a day for GameStop. And obviously your ROI is going to take a while to recoup, but I think at the same time that's pretty decent for like a first day, especially with they just have like, you know, a bunch of like pictures and like videos and GIFs and stuff. So where I think they're going to start making their money is the transactions that will come through having video games. Obviously, they are known for being a video game store. So when they start actually putting out some of their own games down the line, or working with developers who have these games, and the transactions, they're taking 2% or maybe even less. But like even if you get a couple small microtransactions off each one of these things, and people do this all day long and play with these things, that's where the money will start coming in. So NFTs are literally owned by the owner. It is similar to prints by a known artist. Yeah, and that's kind of what I figured. I mean, yeah, like you can screenshot it and just, but like I understand the concept is basically like that's mine. Like forever, that's mine. And there's only, I think, the ones I bought, I think there was like one of 20, one of 15, one of 25. So it's a commodity. But yeah, I haven't played this. I just signed up for it. I don't really know how to. I'm gonna have to dig in further because I obviously didn't have time at work to play video games. But I do want to look into these things because it does look interesting. Because you start looking at like join the fight, and when I tried to register, it came up with an error. Because it must be because they're doing so many of these things. But like, if you look at like, see what it looks like. I don't have my headphones in, but, looks pretty cool. What's that guy? Yeah, so I think, this is where it will get interesting for GameStop, is if they get a couple these developers to work with them and create these worlds where these guys are able to basically like do microtransactions all day long, and instead of having, for example, like this black market, you're basically getting a piece of that market from the company. So like they're creating the marketplace for it, and they will get money through all these microtransactions that happen. So I think that'll be pretty cool down the line if they can figure out how this all works. And is this like one of those auto battle games, I guess? Yeah, the other thing, GME will get a percentage for every transaction after the fact. If you get a highly valued NFT and somebody wants to buy it from you. Yeah. So they get like Ethereum through that. And so I think down the line that's going to be a cool thing. So I'm very interested in seeing what they can do with this. And that's why, for me, I think they are an interesting company. Because if you look at their balance sheet, they actually have like $1 billion in cash that they're trying to figure out what to do with. And doing stuff like this is interesting because this is kind of like futuristic, like trying to figure out, a new, revenue stream for something that's obviously like, if they get a piece of this thing and start doing it the right way, like they can probably do really well with this. So, they just have to figure it all out. Yeah. Way better than Atari. I agree with you, Greg. What's up, man? Yeah, so has anyone played this? I haven't played this. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Has anyone played the game? I have not played it yet, or is it not even out yet? But yeah, they have, I guess, different monsters and beasts that you collect, and I guess there's going to be all these microtransactions that probably happen, and GameStop gets a piece of all that. So, and you can also, apparently, this is what I thought was interesting. I missed this. I wasn't up on everything, but you could have bought land, I guess. So they actually have a thing where like you can go through, and you've got these like. I play League of Legends often. I used to long ago. I feel like they ruined it. Like there was some things that I thought really were cool that you customized, and then they made it all cookie cutter to like kind of like reduce the learning curve on it, and that's when I gave up on it because I was like, yeah, this is no more fun. Like you had to get the right runes and all that stuff, and yeah. But anyway, they had a land sale. Now, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I think they closed it. But from what I saw, you literally could buy like lots. Maybe it was on this one. Oh, you know what? I think I have to filter by... No, I have to filter all the different tiers. And then it shows you literally by like block. You can buy and sell your land. So like, you know, GameStop will get a piece of all this. So I think it's interesting. Anyway. Yeah, so Josh, here's what I thought was interesting. Apparently, though, when they wrote out the thing, they mentioned this has financial implications as well. And I have to find that particular... let me see if I can find it real quick, because I remember I did see it, and I was like... I think they're literally trying to see if this could be blockchain for, like, financial stuff. Alright, let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, because it basically pointed out that they were planning on doing financial stuff with this technology. Here it is. Financial assets on Layer 2 is now a reality. We are super excited to announce the GameStop Marketplace Beta is live on Loopering. Thanks to GameStop, the trading digital goods that represent art, collectibles, game items, music, financial assets on Layer 2. That's interesting. Like, they're talking about blockchain. So there may be some actual practical like uses for this. I tried it. It was really fast, and you know, I read another thing that basically was like he and his brother lives in Europe, he's in the US, and they were literally like transferring money back and forth with each other through like GameStop as their wallets. So like instead of dealing with all these brokerage fees and all this, you know, paying for exchange rates and stuff like that, they went through GameStop and it worked pretty well. He said they paid 15 cents in transaction costs, which is like nothing compared to what you would normally do if you were transferring money to someone in another country. So I don't know. There's some interesting stuff for this, because at first I thought it was just silly pictures, and I'm like, well, I don't know how they're going to turn around their company with this. But like, the more I'm looking into this, I'm like, okay, there's some interesting things they're doing with this, and I think where they're going to make their money is probably in gaming, but obviously there's other world stuff that's out there that they can do with this. So art, collectibles, game items, but I think the game items is where the moneymaker is for GameStop. So I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, is this on the daily, right? Daily 3 years. Okay. Just do this. Yeah, because, I mean, this dip here, like, I wish I wouldn't even have here then. But, I mean, obviously, it looks like it's consolidating right now to me. And it looks like this has been the line in the sand that they don't want it to go above. If you look kind of like longer term, like roughly like here-ish. Let's just draw a price level. But let's just say it's roughly around here-ish. And it seems like every time it's gone around this, it broke down, it broke through, they pushed it back down. My guess would be if there were margin calls, because I mean you got like $1 billion short, but obviously the shorts right now are they're piling up on the put side for the market. So they're going to try to push down the market to make sure they're on the right side of the trade and keep things liquid. But I would look at a couple things. Like this level right here looks interesting also. Kind of another price level right here. Kind of looks like it kind of bounced there, broke through, and now it's going back. I'd have to check if these are fib levels. But yeah, like you see it bounced off there. This is about where it bounced there. So like that's a resistance. This will be the near-term resistance, and then probably like 200 something is the next resistance, like serious one. There could be one probably in here-ish, but like in the 170s. But yeah. Yeah, we can take a look at some of these other stocks. So let's take a look at Faraday. I think we established they've got warrants at 1150, I think. And so they've obviously been kind of like, you hit the top there. I would be curious to see if it breaks above that, like the 641 level, because obviously you hit it there, you hit it 2 days later, and then it's rejected off, and it looks like it's still got a little room, but it's starting to slow down. So if they can't keep the volume up, which they haven't been, these are the 2 days it tried to break through. And so far, if the volume starts dying down, it's showing that right now, whoever was pumping it up those first couple days, or them covering it, like they haven't had a lot of strength since then. And this is how, and then, you'll start seeing this come down on the MACD, and, you can already see the CCI is coming down. You're still okay on the awesome, though. So, I mean, you've got some room to still move as long as the volume follows through. But I think what's happened is GameStop has probably stolen GameStop and AMC have stolen a little bit of thunder away, because this moved back when GameStop was still not like completely running. So, and that happens sometimes. Like, when Aterian was running, and then there was a hand like Redbox, people started bailing for Redbox, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I understand. Like, everyone's going to do whatever they want with their money. So, but yeah, so that's just like a quick TA look. I mean, it looks like so far I would be looking at that level to see if it breaks through there, because it looks at this point right now that it hit a double top already, and now it's losing some steam. But you'll have to see if this RSI curled down, and you'll have to see if the MACD starts curling down. But you can already see the accumulation distribution, it looks like there's some people that are starting to leave as far as their on the volume, I think. Was that the volume one? No, it's just the ADL. Okay. Yeah, so let's see if you get some follow-through tomorrow. Volume needs to pick up. That's what I'd say. Or else it's going to probably slump. So this is where the party's at. What's up, Dirty? All right. Let's take a look at... Yeah, I think with Faraday, if I remember correctly, 1150 is the warrants. They may try to push that up into that warrant area if they want to unlock some money. So, in the meantime, let me just pull up Dilution Tracker real quick. And for anyone that's curious, we do have a discount code if anyone ever wants to use this product. I like them. I think it's a really good tool for retail to use. Yeah, dilution may not matter for this one, but if I remember correctly, if I go to their 10Qs, type in warrants, they do have them at like 1150, I think. There's some private warrants. Did I miss it? Yeah, right here. Exercise price 1150. So you've got public warrants, about 23 million of them at 1150, which they're going to want to unlock at some point to get that money. These other ones are private, and they're at 1150 also. And they do have some at 10 for other warrants. So, but yeah, at some point I would imagine they would want to get those up there to unlock those warrants and get that money. And underwriters are allowed to actually pump the stock to get it up to those levels. It's a weird thing that they've done. All right, so then we got to pull up real quick, slow. All right. So yeah, with Faraday, they look like they're doing okay. What did we say they were at in cash? Let me go back up. Yeah, so they've got like 276 million in cash, it looks like. Right? Yeah, right there, cash. Now, obviously, they had more, and they've lost some in the asset column, so that's why it probably got pushed down. Their liabilities, though, have also shrank though since that time, so that's a good thing. So maybe they use some of that cash to pay down some liabilities. That's possible. So you do have a large float, right? I do have some Class Bs as well. So, well, what did they say for? Yeah, I mean they're a bigger company. Like they're like $130 billion market cap. So like they're doing just fine. Like. Yeah, I mean, they broke that downtrend, and so, yeah, look for maybe a pump on the warrants, but I was going to say, overall, they look like they're doing okay. But I would watch that volume and watch, and then DTC was the other one, right? So DTC is like just, I mean, this thing gets no volume. It gets no love. In fact, it kind of reminded me. I'm going to put DTC here. And then I'm going to put WEBR here. So these are two stocks that were at one point. I don't know. It's not showing up there. Let me put it here then. DTC. Yep. That's because it's the... All right, so DTC only got 142K volume today. It's pathetic, and it did move up a little bit, and then it got pushed down at the end of the day when everything was tanking, because obviously the SPY was tanking at the end of the day. But the point I wanted to make was right here. You see WEBR there. Oops, WEBR. WEBR at the same point, at one point they were both like at 75K volume, and it was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock or something like that, and then WEBR got some volume at the end of the day, and they went up like 6% at one point and then fell. But with DTC never got the volume, right? So like DTC got pushed up, but it was on like super low volume. If this stock actually got volume, it would fly. But like, this is the problem with DTC is nobody knows who they are, and nobody's really paying attention to them because the short interest isn't high according to Ortex. So retail isn't looking at them as a squeeze stock, even though they have no liquidity. They have very, very small float. In fact, they would just run up if people just bought them because the FTDs would pile up. But this is not what retail is doing right now. They're looking at like, what was it? Was it SWFT or what was it? Something like that, right? SFT. But like DTC, there's nothing fundamentally different. Like at this point, they're technically in. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. They're actually, if you look right now, they're starting to cross over on the TTM squeeze. They are about to cross over on the awesome. You see the green right there. They've been positive on the CCI, and things have been slowly moving up. It's just they don't have volume. Like if you look, like you had volume here on that one day, and then you had volume over here in these bits right here when they're running up. I think they ran to what, like 6 at one point, 575, and then since then they just had no volume because the market went down, and then NFTs have a horrible look, and it will for a long time because of Bored Apes. Danny, I will say this: the ones I got, I feel like were done by a real artist, and I was super. Oh, interesting. So, I had opened those pictures up in my computer, and I saved them, and okay, here we go. But when I left them up for a while, they closed and said there was nothing to display here. Alright, so, Danny, check this out. I got this from an NFT thing. Man, that is rough. I don't know why it's like that. But, I feel like that was done by a real artist. Somebody who, put some time and effort into it. And, I think that's, personally for me, I think it's a cool, here's another one. Right? That's my style. I just think that's a cool, image. Sci-fi future, this is cool to me. Kind of reminds me of Blade Runner. It's like a Blade Runner NFT, and this this one kind of reminded me of, what was that show, the League of Legends one, the Arcane? Yeah, Arcane. The streets of Piltover or whatever. That kind of I don't know, that this style it speaks to me. I like it. So to me that was cooler than a ape that is the same exact one, just a different color than somebody else's. My $100,000 pick of a monkey isn't smart investment. A $30 image to support an artist is cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I'm viewing it. So yeah, to me, that's, I thought that was a cool image. Those they're all by the same artist, so I'm I totally am down with supporting that artist, giving them basically $100 to And do you know what happened with the Bored Apes? Aren't they just those the Bored Apes Yacht Club, right? Somebody was trying to get me to buy those for I don't know, a couple $1,000s, and I was no, I am definitely not doing that. Yeah, to me it was why am I going to spend what's the price of Aterian now? What's that? $10,000 for an NFT? Yeah, no. They're Nazis. I don't know, but to me this was there's no way I would pay anything even close to these prices for a picture like this. I don't know. That to me was silly. But to each their own. The owners are Nazis, and the apes really have deep racism. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'd rather support or artists like the one I found, and I thought I don't know if it's a he or she. I have no idea who this person is, but I thought that was a really cool thing that I found, which I think we can find it on here if I do a little bit of searching. There, I found the creator. maybe you guys can tell me what you guys think. But like, here, there, like, I think, like, to me, that's like art. Like, that's like legit art. Like, you know, they even do abstract stuff, but like this like dystopian, like futuristic. It kind of reminds me of like, what was that game that came out with the one that looks like Ellen Page. It was on PlayStation. Like, I think The Last of Us. I think it was. Was it The Last of Us? It kind of reminds me of that, like, kind of like dystopian, like. Yeah. So, like, they've got like some pretty cool NFT stuff. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Like, some of these things that they've done. But like some of these prices, like, right? Like, I was like, wow, like I'm not gonna be able to afford anything else. But I'm hoping that the ones I got I liked, and let's see. I think I bought them from this Recovered Memories like thing, right? But I noticed like these prices are like shooting up on this artist. Like this one I paid I think $30 for, and now it's 105, and there's only 8 of them left. And I also got this one right here. Yeah. So yeah, I was just I'm interested in seeing how all this goes, but like yeah, there's some cool ones in here that like $2,000. Like wow, like I bought this one and I think I paid like $30 for it, and now it's 73. So yeah. Anyway, Jules did a good job. If you ever watch this, Jules, probably not, but I think you did some really great art. Whoever you are, male or female. Looks like a female in the bio thing, but obviously I don't know if that's like a self-portrait or if it's just. Okay, can you check out Vroom? Sure. Did we finish DTC? Yeah, but anyway, DTC, I mean, it just needs volume. Like, that's the truth of it. Like, they're doing fine. There's nothing wrong with the company. They've got a line of credit they can use for cash if they need it. But, yeah. All right, so we'll jump on Vroom real quick just so we can take a look and see how it did today. All right, Vroom finished down by a penny. Okay, went down, got pushed up. Getting real close to trying to cross over on the MACD there. Let's see, is it trying to cross down on the MACD? Yeah, it looks like it. Indicators starting to show a little bit of slump there. Still looking fine though on the awesome. Fading a little bit on the TTM squeeze because there's no volume today on it. So, what was the volume on Vroom? Vroom had 5.4 million in volume, and that stock has a lot of that. I think there's a lot of shares on that, so that's not a ton of volume. What's been their average volume recently? Let's take a look. Vroom average volume. Okay, let's see. The average volume has been about 21 million. But today was only 5.4. So that's much lower than yeah, so that's starting to look like it's starting to show signs of liquidity problems unless nobody was trading it today. Let's take a look real quick and just see. I mean, obviously you had volume here, right, when it ran up to like 181. So you had, what was that, about 78 million, something like that, roughly. Back here, you had another 100 and something million in volume. So, like, but there's a nice gap here. And so I do think that gap will fill at some point. Where was the gap? Let's take a look. Gap is up here in the 4s. So to me, this looks like it's hit a spring and it's starting to come back up. The spring was down here. It's going to go this way. I'll probably trade sideways for a while and then it'll probably make its run. We'd have to see what the options chains look like. Let's take a look real quick. Let's pull up Ortex for you real quick. And if you want, I can pull up Ortex on DTC as well because I don't think we did that. And what was the other thing? Let's stick with one thing at a time so I don't get lost. Okay, let's take a look. Alright. So, 138 million shares outstanding. So I was right about the having a lot of shares. About 30, what's that? 36%, or no, 36 million or 30% is shorted. Utilization is not 100% anymore, though. So they got back some shares. What's the cost to borrow been? Cost to borrow recently has been only 6%. So that's why there's no pressure on Vroom, because it's not costing the shorts a lot of money to short the stock. Like, your average short was probably back down here, and they were paying less than 1% for it. So this stock is probably not going to run immediately until this cost to borrow starts going up again, which means that people need to buy and hold and then not get shaken out. It's already at low levels, so, I mean, but yeah, that's what I see. If you want, we'll do TTC real quick. DTC. Once again, same thing for them. Cost to borrow is slightly higher at 11%, but not like super high. They only have like between 2.6 and 2.8 million shorted, which is a little higher than people realize. So this is a stock that does not have a lot of liquidity, and you'll see that anytime you get any sort of volume, the stock will pop as soon as you get any volume on DTC. But this is one of those rare gems where, like, at this point right now, nobody really knows about these guys, and so for me, I'm just like buying when it's low, and I'm looking for a turnaround on them long term. So because they've been a falling knife. If you look back at their history, like, I mean, they were up here at like the 20s, and then they've been down here in like the 3s and 4s. Right? I think the low was like 3 something. So yeah, like, this is a stock that will go at some point. It's just a matter of time. But it did look like they actually shorted a little bit today, so we get to look at everything else. All right, so EVGO, let's take a look at them real quick. Okay. EVGO. All right, so we saw here you had the nice bounce. Now it's curling back down. Let's take a look real quick. So utilization's been 100% for a long time, right? So that's since January. So that's even longer than GameStop. It's been pretty much pinned up here. So this is a stock that's been really pushed down and like held down. So let's take a look at the cost to borrow. Cost of the borrow has been going up steadily, which is good. would have liked it higher back here, like when it was like 75, 80%, but like still good, getting better. Because if you look, like it dropped down, but now it's going back up. So cost to borrow puts a little bit of pressure on the shorts. Let's see. It's on the threshold list again, it looks like, or just came off of it. Failure to delivers. We're still pretty low, though, so I don't know. How did they end up on the threshold list when they didn't really have failure to delivers? That's interesting. That is super strange. I'll have to look at that. Because it's normally what you see is you see a bunch of like huge amounts of FTDs up here. Like, look at that. Like, failure delivers were like 5 million back there. 4 million here. But you have not a lot of FTDs, but yet you're on the reg show somehow. So that's a bit odd. So that's something I'll have to look into tomorrow. Let's see what the security lendings is doing. Okay, so they're lending out a good amount of shares. All right. A lot of shares on loan. Okay. You know what we need to do? We need to pull up dilution tracker because we need to find out why are they doing this, and is it because they're going to get some dilution, and that's why the shorts are doing what they're doing. So let's EVGO. May not matter for this one, but we can pull up their filings. So institutions own 44% of it. SI is about 30%. Let's take a look. Biggest holders are Vanguard. Susquehanna, I know. Vesco, I know. I don't know this one. That's fine. Let's take a look. Okay, so they do have redeemable warrants at 1150. So, off the bat, that's what they're going to try to probably go for if they were going to do that. They're also about 195 million shares in the Class B common stock. Okay, so this is one of those that I think when we go view here, they're only going to show you the shares outstanding here, but if you look, where is it? So they didn't include it on dilution tracker. But I would say if that's correct, then you do have a good amount of Class Bs that are there. But overall, 1150 is not like an immediate dilution thing. So let me see if there's anything else that I see. Alright. Still holding a good amount of cash. Hasn't changed that much. So that's good. How their liabilities. They have increased liabilities. Not like a huge amount, but, you've got some goodwill in there. You've got some intangibles. So that's a little bit of fluff in here. But overall, they look like they're fine. They've got some preferred stock that they've issued out. Same with... Yeah, so they have like a lot of Class B shares sitting there. And Class Bs you can't usually pick up, so... revenue has increased. That's a good thing, right? So revenue has increased. Warrants exercise so far has not been really anything. cash flow's gone down, though. So they have a net loss there. Which is probably why they were getting shorted. Yeah, so like on a glance, it looks like if we look at what's their current assets and hi Charlie, my dog's underneath my feet. What's up, dude? He must have eaten something because he's making all these grunting noises. He's like part pug, so he. All right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any glaring things. Obviously, they'd love to get back up here so they can hit those warrants. Obviously, that's quite a climb, but something you can see. It all just depends on the underwriter and what they're doing and what the company is doing. But yeah, I mean, find them. I think down here in this range is probably pretty safe. I mean, let me just zoom out. Like, that was the low, right? And they've done this before where they hit a low, they've sprung up, low, sprung up. So they're just opening and closing shorts. So, but yeah, like clearly you're in a down channel. If it breaks out of that, then yeah, it'll probably run for a while. So. Alright, it's the cost to, for Aterian, if you guys wanted to see that real quick, that's fine, we can do that. So Aterian, the cost to borrow on them, it was current one is 67. So 71 was 7 days ago. So 67 though, 50s and 60s is where I've been seeing it. So it's still pretty high. Yeah, right there. That's your average. I've seen them down in the 50s, not as low as 49, but I've seen like in the mid 50s for Aterian. So, yeah, the cost to borrow is still relatively high considering it's been that way for quite some time. So Aterian's not cheap to borrow against, and but they're doing a good job keeping the price down and keeping retail from you're kind of nervous about it. Alright, can you check out... I'm going to have to wrap it up. Probably... I don't know why I'm so tired. HNNA. Hennessy Advisors. Alright, let's take a look. So... must have done some sort of buyback or something, or some way of reducing. They're cash flow positive, which is good. They don't have any recent dilution filings that I see. Short interest is only 3% on them. They're tiny. Let's see. Are they a SPAC? Is that what's going on? A publicly traded investment manager offering a broad range of domestic equity, multi-asset sector, and multi-funds. So the financials. Are they a hedge fund or what? An advisor? No, they're not a SPAC. It was just... So they started down 7. This would be what I'd be looking for. Right around here. 8 something, high 8s, maybe 9, low 9s for an entry, if you're going to be looking at it that way. I mean, take a look at their filings. I'd be curious to see what they own, though. Okay. So they do have some notes. Notes convertible, it looks like. That's why that has a different ticker. It's kind of like a warrant, but... Alright, So nice increase of cash. Managing contracts remain the same, so that's good. That's steady cash flow coming in, so they've increased their assets. That's good. Liabilities did go up with it, though. So let's take a look. Why did liabilities go up? So they had those notes payable, right? Long-term operating lease, deferred tax liability. They have a small float. Okay. Now, the only thing, let's see, why is it so much less? So I did lose some money in the investment advisory fees. So, I mean, obviously that's taken a hit to their income. Nobody's shorting them because that would be silly because they're healthy, but you know. Cash flow seems fine. Yeah, I'm not seeing any like huge red flags or anything. And then they were, what was it? HNNA. Right. Yeah, I mean, they were overvalued there, so they got pushed down. But like, this may see if they make a double bottom. All right. Let's see. I don't know. Goev might get nutty volume tomorrow with FOMO. It could. I mean, it needs volume. If it gets volume, it will move. I mean, that's pretty much any stock. But, like, the volume of the last 2 days has been, here's my biggest thing, right? This gap worries me because at some point it's going to fill. That's why I don't like gapping up. Like, gapping up to me is, like, the most annoying thing in the world because when you gap up, eventually there's this area of liquidity that they didn't get to, so now they got to go back down there and just, I mean, you can see they had some stuff here, but at the same time, like, this lower area right here is still open, and so I would imagine there need to be some liquidity discovered down here. So, I mean, this is just me just eyeballing it, but yeah, I don't like gapping up, and I know, people get all like hyped up about stuff, but like to me, gapping up means that at some point you're going to probably revisit their area at some point. So the question is when. It could still run up, to 11 and then go back down and fill that. We just don't know. So, man, my Goev positions in the 8s, been trying them for a long time. I hope they run up. Yeah, I hope so for you. I mean, most people were buying in this area, and then it went up to here. So a lot of people didn't sell, and so they rode it all the way down, and they've been holding on to it for a while. I don't like these gap up situations because I feel like at some point it's going to fill. So if I was looking for an entry, I'd be looking at an entry like around like 2 something personally. Like if it doesn't catch there in the next couple days, then and it runs, then I just will miss it. But if I was going to play this right, I think I would try to catch it on this backside when it gap fills, and then see what happens. So, all right. Anybody else have any questions? People hopefully are excited. We are going to talk to the guys that started their own brokerage again on Thursday. If you guys are around for that, and bring some good questions. Anyone? Yeah. So because I know when we talked to them last time, obviously everyone wants to ask ticker specific questions, but they can't do that because they're a broker. They have to remain impartial, but they can talk about general market stuff, and they can tell stories about you want to know what it's like at a hedge fund, or if you want to know because he worked at Citadel, which is not Citadel, Susquehanna, which is one of the bigger ones. Did you look at the messages I sent you, Anon? You know what? I think I forgot to actually go through and look at those. I need to go back in my messages because I've been really busy at work and I have not been... Okay, here we go. I have an idea. I won't read this out loud, but I'll just kind of mutter it out to myself. That's an interesting perspective. I have no idea how to make that work, but since I was talking to programs, we might be able to figure this out. Yeah. I mean, the programmers I've been talking to are mainly just scraping some data from some stuff. But if I can get the guy, I don't know how complex the guy that I was talking to is as far as programming, but I haven't hit him up since then, so I need to probably do that. But yeah, I mean that's a very interesting idea. I see what you're saying, and I will not give away your idea to everybody, but yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I just looked at that random. Thanks for that. Thoughts on CPI tomorrow? Yeah, so there's a lot of money betting on the market going down. Let me see if I can do this. If I can pull up Fintel real quick, I can show you guys how much money is betting it's going to go down. Right. Shorts, the big shorts. You just look at how much money is, let's see, we'll just go net short, right? So people are shorting the QQQ. People are shorting the S&P. Google, QQQ, shorting the SPY. All right, so there's a good amount of money that's, betting on the SPY going down. Bank of America, Citadel, Susquehanna. So, yeah. And if the market goes down, so yes, so CPI is going to go one of two ways. So the question is, who's betting long and who's betting short, right? So I've been hearing stories that some of the institutions are the ones scooping up these shares, and they're mainly doing it just to control the price, so they can probably pad and make their options cheaper. Is one thought that possibly that they're basically pushing the price up to basically crush the VIX and then get options cheaper. But so it's hard to say, because the question is, are they doing it just to make options cheaper so they can stack up on puts, or are they doing this because they're fighting? And is it hedge funds versus Wall Street? Or I know they're both technically on Wall Street, but is it traditional money versus hedge funds? Hedge funds are betting on it going down aggressively. These other ones are going long on it, and are they trying to squeeze it? Who knows at this point right now? But that's one of the things I've been trying to wrestle with and try to figure out is who are the two sides right now? Because obviously somebody's pushing it up and somebody's pushing it down. And so, like, who's who in this case? Or is it just when it's convenient to burning retail? Because that's always the game that they like to play together. They have a common enemy, and it's dumb money. Because they don't want dumb money to ever win. So it's easier to take dumb money, because we get nervous and we sell things when we should be buying, and we buy things when we should be selling, and we basically do everything wrong. And because there's two sides to every trade, that's what Wyckoff essentially is. And if you ever read about Wyckoff basically talks about diamond hands and weak hands, as he calls them. Let me see if it pops up here. Where'd it go? Okay. Let me go to my downloads. Pull up a Wyckoff for you guys. Okay. I'll cover this real quick just so we can. I know most of you already know this if you've been listening to the channel for a while, but Wyckoff, all it is basically showing that, like, okay, so when this runs up right here, right? You've got your phase A, you're running up, everything's good. This is when smart money starts actually taking money out in these phases. So every time it runs down and then gets pushed up, it's basically smart money basically actually selling while others are buying. And then they start slapping the ask, meaning like they are trying to make sure that the stock goes back up, which these guys have billions of dollars, they can do this. And so what they're doing during this entire phase is they are basically selling into your, like, buying, you being dumb retail, like us. And eventually what they do is they get all their money out, and then they can dump. And that's what happens, is they go through and they dump, and that's when they really hit it in phase E. So, like, and this works on the accumulation side too. Like, let me see if I can get accumulation in here. Here. So on the other side, right, on accumulation, right? So when everybody's like, oh my God, the stock's tanking, it's awful, and they have a rally, and then it goes back down, and everyone's miserable again. And they go up a little bit, and then they go down, oh my God, like, this is it. And this is when people, like, panic sell, and, like, it goes back up and it chops around, it's consolidating forever, and it consolidates forever, because at this point, every time they get to these lower parts, people are like doubting again. And so what they do is during this entire thing, that's just trying to shake out people who are like unsophisticated traders, basically, is what they used to call us, dumb money, unsophisticated traders, people that don't know how all this works. So during this time, when you're selling your stock in these panic moments, they're buying your stock. And why are they doing that? Because eventually they're going to push it back up. Like, this is just how this stuff works. Like, it's not rocket science. It's like literally, like, as you're distributing, in this case, as they're accumulating, when you're selling your stocks in these panic moments, they're buying it. And then they sit there and they chop it around, consolidate forever, they bore you to death. And then when everyone's kind of like, I'm not sure what's going on with this thing, and I don't really think this is, this stock's ever going to go anywhere, you'll have this one little push up, and you're like, oh, maybe that's not real. And then you move into phase E when you take off, and that's when everyone's rockets and everybody's happy. And then what happens? It goes back in, and then it might push back down eventually, and then you go through this whole thing again. They basically do this on the top and then go back down into this again. So this is just how the market works, as far as, like, there are people for every single trade, there's got to be one side and then the other, right? Like, so there needs to be sellers for for every bought share. So what you end up seeing is you see smart money doing it the right way, accumulating when everybody else is all panicked because they know the stocks can go back up. And then when they make some money, they sell into your buying pressure when retail's FOMOing in at these tops, and then they dump. So let's learn some mad ninja skills and pop these hedgehogs. Yeah, I mean, like, Does it matter who's who, though? I mean, it does in some ways, because who has more power, like, at this point? Like, if, every hedge fund banded together, how much capital are they working with versus, like, large institutions, but I don't think anyone wants to be long right now with inflation and, like, so I'm curious to see what will happen tomorrow. I have no idea, to be honest with you guys. Like, every time it seems like we do these CPIs, it's just a whipsaw back and forth, and like that's kind of how the markets have been. They're looking to just burn people in the short term. So like for some people, they're going long and they're just gonna they think this is the bottom. I think we still have to fill those areas of liquidity down in the 340s on the SPY. So for me, I'm bearish on the SPY short term, but I'm curious to see what happens with some of these meme stocks as perhaps we do lose some liquidity, or not liquidity, as we lose some, like collateral, what happens to some of these these smaller hedge funds that were short on like a GME or a AMC? Like what happens? Are they starting to like, actually have to cover some and just de-risk some of their position? Like who knows? So, all right. Neutral with CPI. That's very safe. I think it's probably going to be in the 8.6. So I don't know how the market will react to that though. Like to me, that's an awful number. But there are days when the market might fly because they're like, oh, we already priced it in. But if we get like a really bad, like worse than expected, then yeah, I could see. That dump and then Goev evening donkey. I donkey. Good pig. That'll do pig, right? 90% of the time the CPI is priced in. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how all this works. It's interesting to see how this has been, like, because this literally has been like a really volatile, like choppy market, and it's not a whole lot of fun to trade short term because at this point you're almost better just picking a direction and then hedging it with the other side. Because we've been, let's go to SPY real quick. Overall we've been in a downtrend, and like we've not been able to break out of that. Like you had this like slight part right here, and then since then it's just been down. So the question is, will this break up and out? And at this point, I don't know, because it looks to me like it's starting to curl down. If you just look at today, this looks like it's going to curl down and cross over on the MACD. All this stuff's coming down. CCI just went down over, and on the both TTM, like this one just crossed over, this one still hasn't, and if this goes down even more, it's going to basically crush that. So I don't know. A leak 10 came out today. I'm not sure if it's BS or not. Yeah, I mean if it's 10, then yeah, leak CPI is fake. But I was going to say my guess would be if somebody leaked 10, that means they're going to burn bears tomorrow. Because they did it on purpose. They want people as bearish as possible, and then they will just run it up to just burn as many puts as they can. So, because that's what they do. Like, if they think everyone's going bearish, then what they'll do is they'll just buy a bunch of calls short term and push up the price, and then they'll profit and make bank, and then, retail typically will lose, and that's just how the market seems to work. So we're doing our best to try to learn more and try to get ahead of things so we can eventually become good traders and make lots of money and do all that. Like that's the goal for the entire thing. And it's these tough market conditions that you'll start learning about, like who's doing a good job discovering new things. How do we keep our eyes peeled for good plays? What's undervalued? Because these are what makes people money. Like when it's tough out, that's when you start learning who's going to actually like pull through, who's going to close their doors. Like these are cool and interesting moments that we get a chance to kind of review and keep our eyes peeled. And do you find the next gem for your portfolio? it's something you're holding, one of the next gems. Like, who knows? Like, it's how this all works, and that's why it's exciting and fun to trade. And sometimes there's short-term things, sometimes there's long-term things, but yeah, my goal is to lose every dime I get on the market. Yep, that's what it is. DZ posted on the subreddit, but the link was removed. Could you check on that when you have a spare moment? Sure. I haven't been on the subreddit in a while because there wasn't a whole lot of posts there, so I didn't check, but let me see. Ater stuck. Okay. New. I don't see anything there. Let me check my mod. Recently updated. New. I don't see any of these. DZ Moneyman. It was removed by who? Okay, goat. I think they have a monkey on your back, hence why I wanted the picture. Okay, let me see why this was removed. Because it was probably the mod. Let's approve it. I'm just approving it because I don't even... It's literally just a link to an article. Container rates slump as bullwhip effect. Yeah, the bullwhip. Oh, you know what? It might be. It's because it's from Zero Hedge. But I approved it, so. Let's see. Here's an article everyone should take a look at. My impression is that given how shipping costs are coming down and likely falling, I speculate this will have a positive effect on Aterian's Q2 guidance, Q4. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, clearly it was somehow removed. I don't know. Oh, yes. You guys know me. I'm not, like, super tech savvy. Like, they added a bunch of stuff on the subreddit that I don't even know how to like moderate because literally like some of the stuff's over my head now. I'm like, I don't know how to edit the auto moderator. I don't know how like any of this stuff works. So I'm like not probably the best mod, to be honest with you, but. Oh, they even added shipping prices. That's pretty good. Like, look at us. Look at us coming together. Good thing people are on there that are smarter than I am. But yeah, tell DZ. I don't know, I'll write them. At DZ. I approved the post. Not sure why it was removed by Automod. Okay. So there we go. I'll even give him an award here. Let me do that. How do I get to my coins? There. Give him a worm. There we go. All right. Is everybody good? we still got what, one more day, right? Today's Tuesday, so we got one more day till CPI. Tomorrow's CPI, and then we'll go ahead and me and Photo's been taking care of it. Good. Okay. So does that mean like Autobot's removing everybody's pretty much? Okay. The market's been so easy to predict. I'll just take his naps, no surprises. All right, man. There you go. Just basically whatever you think's going to happen, just do the opposite, right? All right. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go and try to get some sleep, and I'm going to try to actually work on DD tomorrow. So I like booked it out. I'm going to try to get in the office early. And it's going to take a while, though, because I'm literally comparing, I don't know, like 10 tickers along with Aterian. So I'll be doing that. And then, yeah, Thursday would be fun. We'll go in there and talk to some smart money and see how that goes. So you guys have a wonderful evening. If you're new to the this YouTube thing and you want to join the Discord, it's free. It's absolutely free. If you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. Here we go. Here's the Discord link. There it is. It's free. Once again, no cost to you. So come join us, hang out. All right. Thanks, Dee. Thanks, Josh. Goat. Everyone have a great night. Dirty. Yes. Just making sure. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. We covered a lot of stuff we don't normally cover, like NFTs. My AMC sell post, blah, blah, blah. All right. I think we're good. All right. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll be trying to work on some DD and comparing kind of like the state of the union of short squeeze plays, GameStop, AMC, provide all the actual data for them. All the ones that were popular and no longer are. We'll try to get those in there too. So, all right. Evening.